For those of you that were not able to attend a tea party on April the 15th, you missed a great experience. All over the country, people were meeting, talking about what to do to take back our country. There were great speakers everywhere. It was not just, as some of the media said, it was the white right-wing extremists at these parties, and they called us idiots and things of that nature. Don't pay any attention to them. Most of them are just movie stars. They don't even have a high school education, so throw them out. Along with the House of Representatives, which we're about to get rid of real soon. And Tim, when we go on the website, GOOH.com, that's GOOH.com, there is a questionnaire. Now, you have a list of questions. It's 100 questions, is that correct?
A little more, but yes.
And in the book, you have, is this some of the questions or all of the questions in the book?
So the book started with, here's the questions I want my representatives to answer. I think there's 160 or 170 questions. We're trying to get down to 100, so we continue to weed out the ones that we think are least effective. But we also continue to add questions. As groups suggest new ideas, the question committee evaluates each of those suggestions. We're adding a question on the Read the Bills Act and the Single Bill Act. We've added a question on instant runoff voting. So the list is dynamic. And the idea from the questions are to let you define your own platform. Are you for or against each of the issues? And document that. And then when you sit down, you can compare your answers to the other 9 people in your candidate selection session. You will know exactly where you stand against them. If you agree with somebody 80 or 90% of the time, you'd probably vote for that person. If you agree with them 40 or 50% of the time, there's no way you'd vote for that person. So these questions will allow the other people in your session to determine if you're the person that can represent them.
Now, one of the things that is a big issue with people is we have no choices right now. We talked about this briefly when we first met, is that really and truly we know that we are a two-party system in this country. Third party is just pretty much, if you vote for them, if you vote for somebody in a third party, most of the time your vote is just wasted. Now on local level, I'm not so sure that we even need to have parties, but in your questionnaire, you address so many things that we need to cover, like for politicians, do you commit to not accept any item valued at more than $500 from any person from this day until the end of your 2-year term? Now, let me say this right now. My husband happens to be a government employee. He's not allowed to accept anything, certainly not even $500. But these guys do it every day.
Right. Any business we're in. Imagine your television show. Right, if I come and I just start slipping you money on the side, we all know that that's wrong. Intuitively.
Oh, no, I kind of like that idea.
but you can't be on the take with money.
Right.
Yet the system that we've defined makes the politicians go and do that. Right? They have to, because the other guys that they're competing against do the same thing.
Correct.
So we need to change the system. The process is broken.
This is so across the board. This covers everybody. You've got questions here that you would ask a lawyer. Will you vote to amend the Constitution to exclude people with a law degree from serving in the House of Representatives? What prompted you to ask that question?
Yeah.
Is it the language that they deal out you can't even decipher?
No, if you go back and read the words of the Founding Fathers, right, we have 3 branches of government, the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. The judiciary is 100% lawyers. Back when the country was founded, you go that far back, people knew that there was a conflict between writing the laws and then implementing the laws. So if you're a lawyer, you're in the judiciary branch. And I would say that's where you believe, where you need to be. Now, that's just my answer on that question. So this question, everybody has to answer, right? Not just the lawyers that participate. Would you exclude them from serving? My answer is irrelevant. When you sit down in your group of 10 people, you'll determine if it's relevant how the other people answer that in every other question. That's just one of 100.
And then, of course, then we move on, and then to the extremists that go to your website and fill out this questionnaire. This question is just, do you support the ACLU, and will you support the organization with government funding? Now, to people that are extremists, are they likely to get involved and go?
I would say it's unlikely. because the way the most extremists work is on the fringe. They try to use the legal system to manipulate the results because they know that the vast majority of the people would never allow them to get their laws passed. You know, you could look at the KKK or NAMBLA or the ACLU or any of these kind of groups that are out there with this hidden agenda trying to manipulate the process. So this question is very simple. Would you support a group like the ACLU with funding? I'm not saying the answer is right or wrong. Clearly, I personally believe you should not. But in your group of 10, you will determine if that is relevant or not.
All right. Well, we're going to continue more in just a minute with Tim Cox and GOOOH.com. Get out of our house. I'm loving this. Oh, that's a McDonald thing, isn't it?